Program are solely those of Investor Schooling or their guests and do not reflect the opinions of WPHT or Odyssey.
You're hot.
WPHT, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios, powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. The Larry Steinhouse Show.
All right, everybody, good afternoon, and welcome to another exciting edition of Larry's Voice Cutting In and Out.
Okay, good.
Can you believe that?
It's a great addition.
I can't even hear my voice.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, I got to continue reading the chat. This week's Chat GPT.
Oh.
No?
So, we are very happy with ChatGPT.
I know, we didn't get to,
recently.
let me finish this week's Chat GPT introduction.
Okay, let's
do it. If I
do
can
it.
get through it with this voice.
Okay.
All right, good afternoon, and welcome to another exciting edition of the Larry Steinhouse Show, where we mix entertainment, financial wisdom, and a good dose of humor to dive deep into the issues that matter most.
Best so far, by the way.
Okay, wait, I'm not done yet.
Okay.
I am Larry Steinhouse, your host, and I'm here with the one and only Omri Morad, who brings his unique Israeli flair and sharp wit to the table. Unfortunately, Dr. Deb is still out at a conference this week. Actually, she's on vacation, but she'll be back soon with her insightful perspective. All right, here we go. Wait, I lost it. Where are we here? This week, we're flying solo with no guests, but that doesn't mean we won't have an exciting jam-packed show. We're going to tackle everything from the latest in politics to the ever-evolving economy to tips and tricks for securing financial future. And, of course, we'll throw in some off-the-wall banter and shocking commentary.
What is it?
Because that's what we do.
Banter. What is banter?
Banter's like this.
Okay, that's banter.
Talking back and forth.
Okay, that's basically what we're doing every day, almost all day.
I have to say, I think ChatGPT has been listening to our show.
Yeah.
Because it's actually explaining it very well. But as always, we want to hear from our amazing listeners, and the number to call in is
855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. Please call us at 855-939-1137.
Whether you have a question, want to share your thoughts, or just want to join in the conversation, we're here for it. From current events to personal finance and beyond, this is your chance to jump in and be part of the action. This is pretty good so far. I like it.
Yes, I do.
And, of course, we're broadcasting live from Investor Schooling headquarters. If you're looking to level up your financial game and learn how to invest in real estate, stocks, any wealth building, Investor Schooling is the place to be. So grab a seat, get comfortable, and get ready for an engaging and lively show. You won't want to miss a minute. This is the Larry Steinhouse Show, and we're about to dive deep into an exciting hour of financial talk, humor, and real estate insights. Hold on. I got to sneeze.
So, welcome to the Larry Steinhouse sneeze.
All right.
So you need to understand, Larry came here today, but Larry's developing cold. Like any deal that we are doing in real estate, it takes time. The cold doesn't just show up. We are building it with time. So we will tell you when the cold is ready. But right now,
I've been fighting the cold.
Yeah, we are fighting the
Right?
cold.
I've been fighting the cold with vitamin C and zinc and turmeric.
Turmeric, okay.
And also oregano.
Oregano,
yes.
I put oregano in my omelet. It's the best thing in the
You know
world.
what? I'm going to say it's something I discovered, and this is a really weird thing because
Yeah.
you know my wife's into all this health.
Yeah.
My wife's super into all this health stuff, and I would always take cold medicine. You ever get a cold and take? Glenn, how about you? You ever get cold and take blah blah blah?
Cold medicines.
You ever
Yeah,
take-
yeah. In
right?
the past, yeah.
Right? And you ever notice that while you have a cold, you feel miserable?
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Right? So I definitely feel miserable because I have a cold, right? But I've noticed that when I take cold medicine, because I always take cold medicine, this is when I get a cold,
Yeah.
my wife said, stop taking the cold medicine, you'll feel better. And I'm like, come on, that doesn't even make any sense. So she loaded me up with vitamin C and zinc and oregano, and I'm telling you right now,
You feel better.
I feel better. Now, I know I have a cold. I mean, it's clear. My
Yeah.
voice is cracking.
Yeah.
I'm sneezing. A little bit of stuffiness, a little bit of coughing. But I feel better. I'm more energized. I have less brain fog.
Okay.
So she's right. So I'm going to tell you, once again, the pharmaceutical industry is ripping us off again. They're playing games with us again.
We
The cold
question.
medicines just put you to sleep. That's really what.
No.
Some
It
do, some
depends
don't, yeah.
which one you take. It
Yeah,
depends
and then
which
the
one.
ones that don't put you to sleep don't work. Don't do anything.
It's true.
It's
too.
true.
Yeah,
Because
I
they
saw-
just knock you out. So then you sleep and you're like, oh, I feel better. It's because you slept.
You
Yeah,
also
maybe.
have a thing that every time we go somewhere, you develop a cold.
Right. So we're going to Florida this week again.
Yeah.
Right. And what happens when we go to Florida?
You got
I
a
get a
cold.
cold.
Exactly.
And then I go to
It
Florida,
happened
and
there.
As soon as I land,
I
I'm like,
know.
wow. I feel, so I'm wondering if it's Pennsylvania. I might be allergic to Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand that.
You might be allergic to Democrats.
Well, no, that's what I meant. I can understand that because Shapiro being governor here, and I land in America.
Yeah.
A place called Florida.
Yeah.
Well, actually, America's coming back though. America's spreading across America again, with Trump in charge. So things are getting good.
Yeah. And let's be honest, Shapiro, as much as I criticize some of his act compared to the thing he say,
Yeah.
he's not as bad as the
As
one
Wolf?
before him.
Oh, Wolf was horrible, but I don't know. See, I had a big problem with Wolf when COVID, right?
I know.
We are now the dictatorship, and I am Hitler, and I'm going to tell you what to do. And I had a real problem with that. So I don't know what Shapiro would do in that situation. That was when I got really involved. I used to think it was great, that Trump was president, and I helped him become president the first time. This time I was really for it, but I contributed champagne last time. I contribute this time, but understand that it was okay with a Democrat in Pennsylvania until Wolf became the dictator he became.
The wolf.
That's when I realized that wait a minute, I need to get more involved
Yeah.
because this is no good for me. I'm sorry, but we have something called the Constitution. He's not everybody decided to ignore the Constitution. They took all these legal documents called leases, and they said, I'm sorry, you no longer have a lease with your tenant. We now control you.
It's more
we
than
control
that.
your tenant. We control you.
It's more than that. They gave the tenants a paper that they can sign,
Right.
and it's still going on. It doesn't call the CDC declaration anymore. There is another name for it, an emergency act or something
Yeah.
that the tenant basically can sign, and your lease worth nothing.
Right.
Because what the tenant basically say, and nobody's checking their financial, nobody are checking their resident history. Are they employed? Aren't they employed? Nobody is checking anything. They just sign this piece of paper. This piece of paper say, I have no place to go. I should be stay where I'm at right now.
Right.
When they signed it,
Because the government is saying we can't take them, so you as a landlord, you the rich landlord, should take care of this person.
I like to start, if I'm in court, I like to start with a sentence in front of the judge. Your Honor, I am not a Russian oligarch. And they don't like that.
Have you said that?
Many times.
Oh, that's hysterical.
They don't like that. But immediately they take their eyes from the papers and they look at me.
Right.
And that's what I want. Because yes, people believe that there is a lot of hate to the people that have. And I think it started it increased massively during the last I was about to say a very bad word. During their last election. So it increased massively.
Right.
And this is bad. This is bad. The fact that we hate the people that have in a country that states on capitalism just because I don't have. This is horrible.
Yeah, and how dare they say that, because we're landlords, we're rich and we can take care of the poor. I'm sorry, but nowhere in the Constitution does it say that. And nowhere in my legal document called a lease does it say that, because I'm rich, I have to take care of this poor tenant.
Who asked us? Who asked us what do we do? Who asked us what do we
Right.
contribute?
And what do you got to one guy who's got one house?
Yeah.
And maybe it's the house he's living in, and it's a 2-family house. He
Yeah.
lives on one side, and the other side's paying his rent. And it was the only way
His
he could
mortgage.
qualify. His mortgage, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The only way he could qualify was to get that renter in there.
I know.
And now you got the
Thank God for FHA loans. That's why people do that.
now you got the renter
That's the best.
not paying, and then like you do what you're supposed to do.
What
You
do
go
they
to
do?
eviction,
Exactly.
You do everything right,
Mm-hmm.
and then the tenant plays games like the one that you're having right now.
So it's
Which I've never
No,
seen anything like this.
It's an extreme. I know it's an extreme situation. So we see more and more of what happened recently, and I think it's like people that are very angry about who got elected and about what's going on in the country right now, and it's their opinion. They deserve to hold this opinion, but they do everything they can to show by their act how unhappy they are with that. And we see it. And we see it. And you told about my story. I see it with the police. I see it with the court system. I see it with the townships. They do everything they can to show we are not happy with what's going on in this country.
Right. So Army's got a situation where, he's got either a professional tenant or a professional tenant guiding your tenant.
Somebody, yeah.
And when I say professional tenant, they know how to work the system. Now, I will tell you that Army made mistakes a year ago that put him in this position. So I always say all the time, there's no such thing as bad tenants, there are only bad landlords. So Army was a bad landlord last year, which is putting him in the position now, which is he should have got rid of the tenant last year.
Correct.
And he waited too long, and he kept saying, they're paying, they eventually pay.
I like to give opportunities to people.
Right.
And sometimes you know how they say, shame on you if you fooled me once, shame on me if you fooled me twice, right? So that's the problem. You want to give people opportunity. You want to be the one that maybe it's a harsh word, but save them. And when you are this person, first of all, they're thankful for you. They appreciate you. They appreciate the property. And I wake up in the morning and I'm proud of what I'm doing.
Yeah, sure. And I believe that, except I'm firm. So I very politely file for eviction.
Yeah. I
see them in the courtroom and I shake their hand and say, I'm really sorry I have to do this, but I'm doing it.
Me too.
Right. And that's how I act, So, as you know, the 15th we file for eviction. Matter of fact, you and I have a tenant right now.
Yes, in Florida.
In Florida, who last month we posted her 3-day notice, because in Florida it's 3-day notice, here in Pennsylvania it's 10-day notice.
Yes.
We posted a 3-day notice and we hired the attorney to start the eviction, and she paid the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So that was great. But now this month she's doing it again.
Now we need to understand this is a tenant that is in the unit for 2 months. This is the second month. She's there for 2 months. What we're experiencing right now, it's 2 months. This is a very, very bad red flag.
So typically what happens is, because it's only 2 months in, typical landlord will go, no big deal, she'll eventually pay. And that's the mistake you make. That's why we have to be harsh.
No. If we'll take this attitude with our kids, this will be horrible. One day they will learn.
No, but you understand, like the beginner landlord or the landlord who doesn't know that you have to be firm makes the mistake of not filing. So last month we filed, and we luckily she paid the next day, and the attorney said, don't worry about it, you don't have to pay me. But if we file this time, she's going to have to pay $750 more. So her rent is what? $1,400? $1,350, right?
Yeah.
So it's $1,350. She's already at the late fee, which is $6,500, right?
Yeah.
And if she doesn't pay by the 15th, we will file.
Mm-hmm.
We'll post our door on Monday or Tuesday, and we'll file. And then when we file, she has to pay the $750. Even if she comes up the rent by the end of the month, she still has to pay the $750. Now, what does that do for us? What it does for us is it nips the problem in the bud, right? Because if she becomes a problem, if she says, I'm just trying, and she did. She sent me a text message today. I'm just trying to catch up. Well, that's not my problem. What you spend your money on is not my problem. I don't care what you do. You qualified for the lease at the time. If you still have that job, that means that you're spending your money somewhere else and you need to spend your money on rent. She might be used to having a landlord that lets her go for months, and that's probably why she had to move in the first place. But we don't tolerate that.
No, we don't.
And we tell them that up front. We say, look, rent's due on the 1st, on the 2nd, it's late. On the 5th, it's $150 late fee, and on the 15th, we file for eviction. And let me explain to you, if you have a problem, you're in the hospital, your grandmother died, your car got wrecked, give me a call. I'm going to send you flowers, but I'm still filing for eviction on the 15th. Do we understand each other? And when we have that conversation with tenants, most of them have no problem. Now, she's testing us. And she's losing very quickly. She's understanding that we don't play games.
Some tenant, and we saw that with her, and I saw it with my current problematic tenant, they like to use the condition of the property as a reason not to pay rent. Right. Now, regardless if it's a reason or not, I'm ignoring that for a second. The problem is when basically they say, I'm not paying the rent because of this and this problem, or I'm using this and this problem as an excuse not to pay the rent, while the landlord most time doesn't know.
Yeah, for example,
doesn't know. I'll tell you what happened to me, for example, in Norristown. When we were in court, he claimed that he went through the whole winter with no heat in the house. It's a big problem.
Yeah, that's a big problem.
And I didn't know. And I opened my eyes, and the first time I went there, and Chino and my worker, of course, checked, and he told me there are no batteries in the thermostat. So we put the batteries in the
For 3 months, 4 months.
whatever. So we put batteries in the thermostat, and the system still didn't work.
Okay.
Now I went there. I tried to.
Wait, the batteries are missing or the batteries are dead?
The battery is missing.
Oh, yeah, I already know what happened. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
You
we kept trying.
broke it, yeah.
But it didn't solve the problem, and we kept looking for the problem.
Right.
Over the stairs, above the basement, above the steps in the basement, there is a kill switch. The kill switch was off.
Right.
So basically, he shut the switch off,
Right.
and he said, "I have no heat," and maybe he told the story to himself, and maybe that's why he said,
Or when he went to court, he turned the heat off so he could say there was no heat.
whatever.
But if he doesn't tell you, you can't fix it.
You never know, and I don't like to annoy my tenants.
Right. That's why I like keeping the text messages.
I know.
Because you keep the text messages, like we had this problem, and it's the same woman in Florida we were just talking about. We had a problem where we had the sewer was back, not the sewer,
Correct.
but the line, the eject line, whatever, the sewer line come from the house.
So the problem there,
clogged.
it was clogged, but we
Right.
didn't know it's clogged.
Right, we didn't know it was clogged
because when we came, we basically saw that in order not to call the landlord, who she doesn't pay right now, she called a friend.
Right.
And what this friend did in order to solve her problem is basically, I'm pretty sure people are laughing right now, he cut the plumbing.
Yes.
So all the sewer went down
Right.
underneath the trailer.
Right. So now there's poop underneath the trailer.
There is poop underneath the trailer.
Right.
So when we saw it, we're pretty sure that this is the problem. And we fixed the problem. We didn't know any better.
Right.
You come, you see broken plumbing, you said, okay, I see what's going on. And we didn't know that there is another problem there,
Right.
a second problem that caused everything from the
And
beginning.
then we call a plumber
Yeah.
to fix it, and she never answers the phone.
Correct.
So once again,
A week.
right, for a
For
week.
a
right.
week, he calls me and he
Right.
said, I don't know what to do. She doesn't answer. I wake
Right.
up in the morning, I see a message from her from 1 a.m. that she was working all day.
Right, exactly. So now we finally get the plumber to finally figure it out. By the way, it cost us $2,000
Correct.
to clear this, and it turned out to be condoms and wipes.
And yeah.
Now look, she's been in there 2 months, and we had to give her the benefit of the doubt that she wasn't the one using the condoms and wipes.
Okay.
So we didn't charge her back the $2,000 because if she had been there for a year, I would have charged her back the $2,000.
I agree.
But so we had to give her the benefit of the doubt that it wasn't, and I sent her a text message saying, "Look, we found condoms and wipes. You can't do this. It's a septic system. That's the problem." And she, of course, immediately says, "I don't put condoms and wipes down there." You know what's really funny about that, right? When you think about it, right? It's a woman. It's a single woman, right? So if I say you're putting condoms and wipes down, and I did it, I used those words intentionally.
If you're uncomfortable with this conversation, please close your ears for the next minute.
No, but listen, the reason I specifically told her
I know.
it was condoms and wipes, because if you're a woman, what would you say to me saying that you put condoms down?
No.
I can't possibly put condoms down. I'm a woman, right?
It's embarrassed, yeah.
Right. So she didn't even defend that.
Okay.
So you know what that makes me think? That she's got a boyfriend that pops in there every
pretty
once in a while,
much,
and literally
yeah.
pops in there every once in a while with a condom,
Yeah.
And then that's fine. But, look, some people don't know, so we gave her the benefit of the doubt. It's only there 2 months. And I said, just make sure you don't do it again.
So I have a question for you about that. We went into...
And by the way, just everybody, so you know this online, so BPO is asking a question, is she a prostitute? We have a suspicion that she is. Especially because some of the things that were said.
I'm not going there.
It's just a suspicion, but I don't want to. I don't want to say that she is. I don't know.
Anybody can do whatever
But
they want.
that's exactly what I was going to say. Look, we rent nice places to nice people. What she does on her own personal time is not my issue, as long as it's not affecting any of the tenants.
So we had a family who lived there.
But you know what I was going to say real quick?
Yeah, sorry.
I want to let everybody know. So they have these wipes. So they have the baby
The
wipes.
washable
and
wipes.
The white baby wipes and they're adult wipes, right? And they say flushable. I'm going to tell you right now, they are not flushable. Yeah, they'll flush, but they'll get clogged in the pipes, and they'll cause, all kinds of problems. We talked about this last week, too.
So the good ones should dissolve.
They don't dissolve. They cannot be
They
put in-
tear.
No, listen to me.
Okay.
Toilet paper, yes. Wipes, absolutely
No,
not.
the washable
never.
wipes, they tear.
Wrong.
And you can tear
Okay.
a baby wipe.
You're gonna listen.
And
listen
no,
to me.
I'm not arguing. I guess
I'm
you know
telling
what you're saying.
I'm telling you, I know what I'm saying. I've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
And I open it, and all the time it's like, oh, my toilet's clogged, blah, 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 blah. And then you open it up, and sure enough, there's those wipes sitting there. They get clogged. They get caught on the corners of the toilet on the way down, and then they build up.
Can
And
it
then
be that
eventually-
the tenant is lying and she used regular wipe and not washable wipes?
It doesn't matter.
It could be.
No, listen to me.
Yeah.
There's no. You should never put anything down a toilet but toilet paper.
Agreed.
Ever, anything.
Agreed.
You do not put tampons. You don't put condoms. You don't put wipes. Only
Tampons
only,
is
only
rubber.
toilet paper.
Who will flush tampons? I don't get.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
my God, you don't know.
Condoms. Condoms are rubber.
It doesn't matter. They'll do it.
Okay. So when I have a tenant that flush, I always ask my plumber for a picture. When the snake comes out,
Right.
show me what's on the end of the
Right.
snake. I want to see what was there.
It would be funny if there was a condom wrapped around the snake. wouldn't it?
Ooh, yeah, exactly. How do you know what flavor is it? So if you think about that, once the snake is out, I get the picture and I show it to the tenant. The tenant, oh, it's not mine. Oh, I didn't know I can't flush.
A
Baby
lot of
wipe."
times they say that.
I don't believe that.
Right. No, a lot of times they say they don't know.
A dog.
Because it's true. It says right on the thing. It says flushable. But they are not flushable.
How a dog doesn't know he can't flush baby wipes? They can flush
They
baby
say
wipes.
flushable. That's why. They're not flushable.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And
People
they
push
cannot
it.
be flushed.
Yeah. So if you do have any other stories about what you experience with tenant, plumbing, electric, whatever you want to share with us, you can call us 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. And let's hear more stories.
You know, you got some countries, and you can't even put toilet paper in the toilet. in the
Cyprus.
No.
Cyprus, Greece, yeah.
toilet. What?
Cyprus,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Greece,
yeah.
You can.
Yeah, Nicaragua. You got. I mean, there's a basket next to the toilet, and you put your toilet paper in there. I'm like,
Their
wow.
system is so old, so bad. Yeah, you can do it. I know.
Right.
In Europe, many countries.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all because of the septic system.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did I did a quick lesson about septic system and how it works yesterday, because when the plumber called me and started to explain, I just couldn't get it. So I went to YouTube. And I used the term that he used, and I think I figure out what he's talking about.
Yeah, so it goes into a tank, and then that tank goes into a distribution box, and the distribution box goes into a leach field.
Correct.
Right, and the leach field is all the pipes. They're just perforated pipes.
Yeah.
And they eventually work their way into the soil, and the soil like just absorbs
Filter
all the
them.
minerals.
The soil, the soil need to filter
right.
them.
So that's why the grass is always greener over the septic tank.
Correct. Yeah, it is. I know. I got it. So, yeah, it's pretty amazing that those system still works and they still install them
It
new.
works great, but the problem is when the distribution box goes bad, that's a problem, and that might even be a problem we have. The distribution box goes bad, or even sometimes what really happens is another thing that happens is the angle of the pipe. You know, the pipe that comes out, the 3-inch pipe that comes out of the house going into a septic tank, because the ground moves, the angle changes. So
Correct. That's part of what I read yesterday.
Right. So now, right.
So it could
You
be.
didn't realize that I was an expert in septic tanks, huh?
No, I didn't know that you were expert. It could be that those sewer pipe with holes in them that used to be like that are now like that.
Exactly.
And that's why, unless the septic tank is
But
almost
it's not
full.
just that. It's also the pipe that goes into the tank, into the holding tank.
Yeah.
If those are angled off, now you have water sitting in there.
Sitting water.
Instead
Standing
of
water.
going into the septic tank
Yeah.
and it splashes back and forth. And that's another problem. I've had that happen to me before.
It's a problem.
Yeah, and so what happens is septic tanks usually last 30 to 35 years.
Yeah.
We have a septic tank that's probably been there 50 years.
We don't know.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's 50
Yeah?
years. I'm guessing it's 50 years.
Okay.
So we're probably at the. I mean, we're probably at the end of the lifespan before we bought the property.
Yeah.
And we know we have to work on this problem too, but that's not what caused this problem. All right. So, wait, we got. And the sewer. Wait, we got somebody. We got somebody talking on here. It's like he wrote so many words I gotta read them. Hey Larry, Omri, and Glenn. LOL. My stepson and I just got an auto shop, and the sewer backed up, and it was full of the red shop rags. Oh,
Ooh, and
red
rubber
shop rags
gloves.
and rubber gloves. Ugh. Oh man.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure this employee got fired.
Yeah, but maybe he did get fired. Maybe. Oh, you mean maybe he did it on purpose?
I'm pretty sure. I don't know.
So that's right.
It's ridiculous.
That's bad.
Yeah, I know.
You can't have red shop rags and rubber gloves. That's a big problem. Yeah.
True.
So
that's
these are things that happen. And look, and somewhere we talked about this before. Well, we got to understand, Army and I own a lot of properties, right? A lot of properties, and we rarely have problems. But when we do, we bring them up just to tell you about the experience we're having with the problem and how it's not that big of a deal. I mean, this is a major problem, or this could be a major problem. But it's not a major problem. We're not there. We deal. We made phone calls.
Exactly.
Right. IMPC. I make phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
We called the plumber. We got him to come. It is what it is. The guy goes, look, in this case, it's $2,000 to clear this. I'm like, all right, just do it.
It is what it is.
We had to figure out how to pay for it this morning. We were like, Army and I are like going through our piggy bank trying to find enough quarters to pay the $2,000, but we paid it.
Very good. But it is, yeah. So if you do have any stories about what you experienced with your tenant, maybe you are a tenant and you have a bad landlord that doesn't fix anything and you want to share about that, call us 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. We'll be very happy to hear your story.
So since you've taken over the show completely at this point,
why? I
like the way you did that. You were just so professional. I wasn't insulting you, actually.
Okay.
But I just wanted
That's
to know.
new.
I know exactly. It was like I know it's like it's what happens to people, right? People when I say something like that, they're like, "Oh, that must be an insult because Larry said it."
No,
right? No, but it's not. So I want to let you know. But I was wondering if you wanted to go to commercial.
Let's do it.
All right.
Please.
Hi, this is Larry Steinhouse, and I want to tell you about a full-day event we're having on Saturday, June 14th. Not only will you learn stock options and real estate, but you'll also learn asset protection, you'll learn how life insurance really works, and so much more. To sign up for this event, go to 4mmw.com. That's the number 4mmw.com. And I'll tell you what, if you put in the coupon code WPHT, you're going to get a free ticket. That's it, 4mmw.com, coupon code WPHT. Hi, this is Larry Steinhouse, and I want to tell you about a charity we formed called Lev 27. Lev 27 is a charity that helps people stay in their homes. Look, sometimes life happens. Many people live paycheck to paycheck, and if suddenly something happens and they can't afford to pay their rent, we will step in and help them. We'll even cover any legal fees to keep them in their home. Go to lev27.org, that's lev27.org, to find out how you can help or make a donation. Thank you. Hey, this is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. How many times are you going to listen to my voice before you finally go to investorschooling.com? I can't believe you haven't signed up for a class yet. You're going to learn real estate investing. You're going to learn stock options trading. You're going to learn things about money that you didn't even know existed. Go to investorschooling.com right now. Oh my goodness. This Thursday, investorschooling.com, and take that free class. See you there. Hey, this is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. Listen, I know sometimes you worry about coming to see me because you don't want to invest in real estate, because you don't want to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants. I'm going to teach you a way that you don't have to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants, or even own any real estate and invest in real estate at the same time. You want to learn this, so go to investorschooling.com.
Yeah, exactly.
Take a complimentary class this Thursday, and I promise you, no toilets, no trash, no tenants. Hey, this is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. I've been talking about myself for all these years. Now it's time for you to hear from one of our great clients.
Investor Schooling lives up
I wonder why those companies are still allowed to market those things as flushable if they're not, if they're damaging.
I know, that's a good point. I don't know.
And my financial life has improved.
All right, we'll
Come
be
to
back in
Investor
30.
Schooling, and you could be just like Charlie and change your
I got all
financial
kinds
life.
of good points
Go to
when we're not on the air.
investorschooling.com. We will see
You
you
are a good
Thursday.
point.
Hey, this is Larry Steinhouse with Investor
What's that?
Schooling.
Back after
Did
that.
you know that we have a radio show right here on WPHT every Saturday at 1 o'clock? It's called The Larry Steinhouse Show. And you want to listen to this show because it's a live show and you can call in. In fact, here's the call-in number.
855-939-1137.
And when you call in, you can ask us questions about real estate, the stock market, even politics. Make sure you tune in Saturday, 1 o'clock. This is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling.
This program is paid for by Investor Schooling.
All right. So we were talking This is Larry Steinhouse. Welcome back to the Larry Steinhouse Show. I'm here with my co-host, not Doctor. I'm here with Omri Morad. Dr. Deb is out today.
Yeah, but she have a message for us.
She has a message for us.
Can we move on? Can we move on? Can we move on?
So if you've been into class on Thursday, Monday.
Right. It was funny. We were talking. Okay, hold on. We were talking about wipes before the episode. Before the commercial. I'm sorry. We were talking about wipes, and we were talking about the damage they do to septic tanks, and they say flushable. So you got to understand, they are not flushable. They're absolutely not flushable. Don't use them. Don't use them. Take your toilet paper and put soap and water on it, but don't use these flushable wipes. They're a big problem. And they cause major problems. Major problems, especially not just septic problems, but they cause major problems with even the regular sewer system. So don't use them. Don't use them at all. So, Kimmy says it's false advertising. And then she realized, wait, Kimmy, this is what Kimmy did. So this is funny. This is the string of her things. She goes, I like the new commercials. And then her next comment, because we were talking about the wipes, she writes false advertising.
I know. And
then she realized the mistake she made. She goes, no, I think the wipes are false advertising, not the commercial. I'm like, that's funny. All right.
I think she referred to the fact that you said, no toilet, no trash, no tenants.
No toilet, no trash.
And then she said false advertising. I'm pretty sure that's what she meant.
No, that's not what she meant. So I want to bring that up too. So how to invest in real estate with no toilets, no trash, and tenants. So there are ways to do it. So Omri, first of all, Omri and I choose to manage most of our properties. I don't manage all my properties, but I shouldn't even say I probably manage about 1/3 of my properties. But Omri manages all of his properties, and we manage the mobile home park together, sort of. We have people out there who we make phone calls to. So we choose to manage the properties. Now, I have property managers that do properties for me, and I don't have to deal with any of this. Okay, that's one way to do it, and it's actually a very effective way to do it. And then people are like, well, why don't you have a property manager for all your properties? And the honest answer is that's just who I am. It's not about the money. I don't, you do pay for the management, but it's more about two things. One is, I really like the interaction with tenants. People think I'm crazy, but I like helping people. I mean, look, we put together a charity to help people stay in their houses, right? Mm-hmm. So I like the interaction with tenants.
It's next week, by the way.
No, it's not.
11/27, I think it's next week.
No, it's June 11th.
No. No. Reading the Torah.
Oh, is it? Oh,
I think it's next week.
Leviticus 27 is next week? Oh, that's interesting. That's very interesting. Okay. Okay, it was like,
So the charity called nobody 27.
Even knows. Nobody's in your head, Omri. Just so you know, he was at temple this morning.
So explain.
And Leviticus 27 is it's all about giving. It's really Leviticus. Leviticus is all about giving. Leviticus 27 area is all about giving, and that's why it became Lev 27. It also turns out that Lev is heart in Hebrew.
Yeah.
So, and 27 happens to be the day of my birth. Mm-hmm. So it's actually an interesting combination where the Lev 27 came from. But again, I like to manage my tenants. I also teach tenant management. So how can I teach tenant management if I'm not managing my own tenants?
So every person who experienced management companies before know how hard it is to get to a management company that you can be satisfied.
Good management companies, most of them are terrible.
Because it's not a management company; it became a brokerage. What they do is basically what you said. They make the phone call for you. They take the commission from the plumber.
Right.
They take the commission from the.
Right.
You don't see many management companies that do what's called passive management, and I will explain.
Yeah, I agree.
When you have active management company, they basically take care of everything, and in the end of the month, you get what's left.
Right. But there's more to that. So just really what's happening is it's almost like they've taken complete control of your property.
Correct.
You don't even get the lease. You don't even know who your tenants are.
Correct.
They make the choice of who the tenant is. They screen them the way they want to.
You have no idea.
And then all of a sudden you're looking for the rent check and you're like, well, they didn't pay the rent. Well, didn't you screen them? Well, yeah, we screened them. Well, let me see the screening. Oh, we can't do that.
No.
What's their name? We can't do that. I mean, you don't understand. This is my property.
Correct.
And I have a problem with that. That's why I fired my management company in Delaware, because they were like that. I did not like that management company whatsoever. And then what you just said is true, too. What they do is they hire somebody to make the repairs, and let's say they got $1,500 a month, they got $1,500 rent, and the repair was $1,200. They send you $300. after fees. But they send you $300. You're like, wait, how come I only got $300? Well, because we repaired something. Well,
Go
what
to the
was
portal.
broken?
You can go to the portal and take a
what
look.
was broken?
Where are the pictures? Send me a picture of the problem.
Yeah, I want to know this is real. And then they also make money every time they change tenants.
And I will tell you another
They
thing.
take a month's rent every time they change tenants.
Correct.
So it's in their best interest to change tenants. And then there's another one, right? Late fees, right? So we're very strict. Rent's on the first, second.
They let it go.
They let it go. Why?
For some reason. I don't
You
know.
know why, right?
No, I don't.
Because they make money on the late fees. So if you got somebody like my property manager in Lehigh Valley, he's got 400 properties. And if 50% of them go late, that's a lot of money.
Wait, what do you say about the late fees?
They make money on the late fees.
They make money on the late
Of course.
fees? Okay.
Right? If they're making 10% and the late fee's $50, they make $5 a person.
So I experienced something different. I experienced that my management company in the past didn't want to fight for the late fees.
Oh, yeah. So
Yeah, leave it go, let it go.
Yeah.
Don't go to a fight
They're
with
lazy.
them.
They're lazy.
Exactly. Maybe they were lazy. Maybe the $5 that you just described is not worth it
Yeah,
for
that's
them.
why the tenants don't pay. That's why they don't pay on time.
Because nobody
Because if you
educated
don't
them.
punish them, they won't pay on time. It's like
Exactly.
a kid. It's like the kid, doesn't clean up his room. You say, clean up your room. And the kid just ignores you. And they say, clean up your room. He ignores you. Clean up your room.
You don't take them for an ice cream
Right.
later.
And you take him for an ice cream anyway. He's never going to clean up his room.
Exactly.
So his kid's going to grow up and he's never going to clean up his room, never be clean again.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Until you say, hey, listen, you either clean up your room or you can't come out with us.
And his wife will pay for it. For mistake that I'm doing.
What?
His wife will pay for the mistakes that I'm doing. His future wife.
Oh, his future wife. Okay, now I got
his
it.
future wife.
I missed what you were trying to say.
She will pay for that.
Yeah, now I get it. I was confused by what you said.
The main problem for me with management company was always communication.
Yes.
Always was the communication. Yes, there is a fancy portal. Yes, I can see all that. That's fine.
Right. I want a phone call.
Exactly.
Right.
I want a phone call. And I tell you another thing.
Especially when my air conditioner doesn't work. Remember the tenant? That's why I find the company in Delaware. When the person, I get a phone call from or an email, not even a phone call, an email, which I never look at my emails.
That's fine.
I get an
Email, I can
and the
leave
email
with an
said,
email.
the air conditioner doesn't work in 123 Main Street, right? And I called up and I said, how long has the air conditioner not worked? Oh, it's been out for 2 weeks now. I'm like, how could you let the air conditioner be out for 2 weeks in the middle of the summer when it's 95 degrees out? Well, we got the guy finally came out and blah blah blah, and he said you could do two things: you could fix this or you can replace it. To fix the thing is $700. To replace the whole air conditioner is $6,500. And I said, that unit's a really small unit. I know how much air conditioners go in that unit. It should be around $4,500. I said, well, no, that's what we call. Let me talk to the HVAC guy.
So there was a central AC in the house?
Right.
Okay, I got you now.
Right. So I called the HVAC guy, and he says, "Oh yeah, I've been working on this thing for a few months now." I said, "How long has it been out?" It's always been out for a really long time. I've been there 3 or 4 times already. I'm like, and nobody told me? He says, "Yeah, I really think you should replace the unit." I go, "How much?" He goes, $6,500. I go, $6,500 is ridiculous. I said, "That's really high for that. I know that unit. I know how much it should cost. I use it all the time." He goes, "Well, sorry, that's how much it costs."
Yeah,
what do you want
find
me to do?
somebody else.
Right. So then I called the management company and I said, "I will find somebody else." Guess how much I paid?
$4,500.
45. Right.
Yeah.
Good by our friend. And the guy actually, we have a guy who comes to school and he's retired. He's actually a retired HVAC guy. Mm-hmm. He doesn't do this anymore, but he does it for us.
He's a friend.
Right. He's a friend. I mean, he does. He just charges, but he does it, right? And he goes there, he replaces it for $4,500. And I called a management company up and I said, "What's going on with this tenant?" I said, I said, why are they always late? Well, they're always late because of some of this and some of that. I said, well, let me talk to the tenant. I called the tenant up. I said,
they allowed you to talk to the tenant?
Yeah, finally.
Wow.
Because I was really bitching and moaning. And I talked to the tenant, and she goes, "Nobody takes care of me here. I'm tired of it. When this breaks, I don't get an answer for 3 weeks, nothing." I said, "You know what?" I said, "That's not me." And I said, "The fact that you're living like that really upsets me." And I said, "That will not happen
in my
anymore."
property.
In my property, exactly. That will not happen anymore. You will get a new lease in a month from me. You'll get a new lease, and this management company is fired. Well, I'll give you a great example of what happened. Remember when she had the flood?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Ah, it's the same tenant?
Same house, right? one of the pipes burst in the winter.
Yeah.
It was a weird situation.
We had a very cold winter. Yeah.
And the whole first floor got flooded, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she called me up immediately. I had a repair crew out there immediately cleaning up. Within 2 weeks, she was able to rehab.
Not even. We fixed.
Yeah, it was less than 2 weeks.
It was so
she
fast.
was able to rehab at the place. Now, if there was the management company, I wouldn't even have known about the flood for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I agree.
And and what do you do? So now that's part of why you got to be really careful when you hire a management company. But we were talking about the fact that you can invest in real estate without toilets, trash, and tenants, right?
And without management companies, actually.
And without management companies, I actually think that sometimes it's better to be without the management company, but sometimes it's difficult. But you could also, there's other ways to invest in real estate. One is wholesaling properties, where you get a property under contract, and you just sell the contract to somebody else. So, and you never even own the property.
No.
And matter of fact, it's almost, there's not even any money involved either, because you get the property under contract. So I go to Omri and say, hey, listen, Omri, I'm going to buy your property. I'm going to give you $50,000 for your property. And I go find somebody who will give me $60,000 for the same property.
Correct.
And I make the $10,000 spread.
We need to make it clear that at some townships, you need to be licensed to do
that's
that.
Philadelphia, but that's
it's
okay.
mainly Philadelphia.
It's just Philadelphia,
but that's
and a couple other states. But it's okay. The point is, you can do that. That's the way
of
to
course,
do it.
completely
To
legal.
get into it, we can teach you how to get into it. It's very easy to do.
And if you're really lazy and you don't even want to do that, you don't even want to find a deal.
Yeah, you can become a real estate agent.
You can You
can if you want to.
You can just be a lender.
No, you can be. That's another thing, right? You can
That's
be a lender,
another
right?
thing.
So
Let
you can
other
lend
people
money, right?
Yeah,
You can
let
lend
other
money in a
people.
real estate deal.
Exactly.
Which, by the way, we talk about that a lot, and it's so funny because so many people lend people money, and when they learn how to lend it the right way, they're so super happy. Because you got some people, even people listening right now, maybe they have $500,000 or $1 million in some dumb annuity that some dumb. I'm really being careful what word I don't use.
Yes, I know.
Right.
You need a beeper.
Right. Yeah. Wait. Hold on. Hold on. I can't find it. Oh, here it is. So the annuity salesman who with the annuity, and he basically gave it to you. Yeah. Anyway. So and you lost all your money in your annuity because the annuity guy basically lied to you. We actually could get you double the in most cases. I gotta be careful how I say it, but in most cases you can get double the return as you could on an annuity, and you can get paid for 30 years.
You know what needs to be the first question, okay, that the register rep asks. The first question, he just met you. Hi, Larry. What are your plans for the money?
Well,
what do you need to? When do you need the money? Let's say, when do you need the money?
Well,
because
most people don't know. So you ask a 30-year-old, what do you need money for? Right? And a 30-year-old.
No,
in most
but
cases,
it's a bad example because a 30-year-old, anything can happen. They can get married. They can buy.
30-year-olds are buying the annuities. The 30 and 40-year-olds are buying the annuities because the registered reps are talking to them into buying annuities.
I don't understand that.
I don't understand it either. It's dumb.
No, I don't understand the 30 or 40-year-old that do that.
It's not because the 30 and 40-year-old don't know anything about money. Most of our audience, most of the people in the country know nothing about money. That's why they come to investor schooling to learn. You come to an investor schooling class, like you become a student, and within 2 months you're like, wow, everything I knew about money was wrong. That's like the title of my book.
The title of the book, yeah.
Right? And by the way, if you want a digital copy of my book, it's called Money Hacks, because everything you think you know about money is wrong. All you need to do is just take out your cell phone and type in the phone number 26786. That's the whole number, 26786. And type in the word hack, or send a text message hacks to that number, HACKS, and you will get a digital copy of my book for free. 26786 hacks, right? So they come to investor school, they learn all these things about money that they never even knew existed, they never even knew it was possible. And then all of a sudden they're like, wow. But let me tell you why the annuity salesman sells an annuity to a 30-year-old.
Commission.
Yeah. They make more money on annuities than any other product that they sell. That's why. The two products that they make the most amount of money on are annuities and life insurance. Now, life insurance has its own value, and it's a different product. But an annuity is a product that absolutely no one should ever buy unless they're going to annuitize it immediately. And what I mean by that is, like, say you have $1 million, and I'm going to leave $1 million to my kid, and I have an account with $1 million in it, right? And I want to leave it to my child let's say my child is, has a disability or something, right? And I want to
make sure
sure
this can support
that
him.
the day I die,
Yeah.
there's enough money to pay my child,
His
whoever,
rent,
the
his
guardian of my
bills, yeah.
child, forever.
Yeah.
That's what you use an annuity for, right? But you never take money, put it in an annuity, and hold on to it inside the annuity for 10 or 20 years. That is the worst thing you can do. If you want to take the money, put it somewhere else, and then buy an annuity when it's age 65 or 70, and say, yes, but I want the distribution as of next month, I have no problem with that. Now, I think there are better places you get better returns.
You still lose.
But it's very safe and it's very it's a very
You will
simple
still
place.
lose the 10%.
No, it's very different. Well, it's very different because now you're annuitized it immediately. It's not that you're losing the 10%. That's your surrender value. You lose 10%. So you're confusing two things. But you need to understand that that's the only time you use an annuity is we can instantly annuitize it.
No, I
that's
understand.
what they were invented for. They are not invented to be investments. They are one of the worst investments you can ever make.
So why to surrender 10%? You can't annuitize it in a different program? I think
Because
you
they're
can.
basically saying, hey, we paid your salesperson this big commission, and we're not going to take it back from him. So you have to pay that commission. That's why the surrender value is so high.
I'm not sure I understand. I mean, I can't put it in any other insurance policy. It has to be in.
Right. So annuity is a life insurance company, but it's not a life insurance policy.
Yeah.
So if you put, let's say, you put $100,000 into an annuity, right, and then next year you go, hey, you know what? I went to investor schooling and found out that I could lend people money and make a lot more money on this, and it's just as safe or almost as safe, right? And I decide I want to do that. They're going to say, great, here's $90,000. Well, wait, I gave you $100,000. Yeah, too bad. That's the problem with annuities. That's the first problem with annuities.
But if you want to annuitize it from day one, you still lose it.
No, you don't necessarily. You don't really lose it because what you're
Over
doing,
time, it grows in value.
Right, because it's growing value and you're being paid. So that's
I
what
got
annuities
you.
for. There's a formula for an annuity, how it works. It's basically a reverse amortization schedule, and it works really nice. It's great only if you annuitize it immediately. All these people, unfortunately, we're on the same station.
So let's say
like the guy after us sells it and the guy before us sells it. And you listen to them. If you listen to them really carefully, listen to these guys on the show, on this station and other stations, I don't care who they are. I mean, some of them are really nice people. But if you listen to them, what are they talking about all the time? They're talking about one product. Annuities. Why are they talking about one product, annuities? Because they know that when you go into their office, they've already prepped you on the radio to talk to you about these products that they're going to make the most commission on. And that's how it works. Now, I don't care what product you buy. I'm going to teach you how the products work. Where you go into some of these other places, they're only going to teach you the products they sell. I'm going to teach you how money works, how money actually works, because I'm not selling you a product. I'm not an annuity salesman, and I happen to have a life insurance license, but I barely sell any life insurance only because I have it because I refer some business to somebody else, and they give me checks. But I don't care. I don't care if you use them or use anybody else, right? I also have, there are also other products out there like stock market products, like stocks and bonds and ETFs, ETFs and those funds. I don't care because I don't sell them. I'm going to teach you how you can buy them yourself. I'm going to send you to somebody who will sell them to you. And they make a small commission on them. That's fine. It's their job. And they'll sell them to you. But I don't make money on that. So I'm teaching you everything. It's completely unbiased. And that's the difference between what we do and, going to this guy who, he's basically going to sell you something. I mean, you go to these free dinners, these free lunches and dinners. They have them all over the place. And look, I'm a big fan of advertising. I'm a big fan of marketing. Obviously we have a radio show. We're marketing the radio show. But these guys, what do? They bring you to a dinner and they scare you to death about taxes and they scare you to death about your retirement. And then they say, hey, I got the best solution for you. It's the one that I make the most money on.
Insurance agents.
Right. Well, annuity. Right. And it's just funny because...
No, I mean, insurance agent like to sell by scaring you.
Well, it's different.
It is what it is.
In this case, I'm talking about an annuity, right? So if you're life insurance licensed, you could sell annuities. Or if you're annuity licensed, you could sell life insurance. It's the same license is what I'm trying to say. So what are the two products they're going to sell you? They can sell you life insurance and annuity, or they're going to sell you a combination of both.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you know that there is a company, I won't mention the name, but there is a company that use, I guess they pay a lot in commercials right now in YouTube, Facebook. They buy life insurances.
I do.
I know that you do too. And
so there's two kinds of ways to buy life insurance.
Okay.
You want to talk about that?
I want to know about it because I have no idea about this subject.
There's something called a viatical settlement.
Okay.
And a viatical settlement basically says, okay, Omri, you're in your deathbed. You've got 6 months to live. It's typically 2 years or less. Like a doctor has said, Omri, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. You're going to last 2 years or less.
Okay.
And you have a life insurance policy for $1 million, right? And I come along and I say, listen, Omri, why don't you go live a little bit? I will give you $750,000 for your policy if you make me the beneficiary. So you get $750,000 while you're alive, and I throw you off a cliff the next day. No, I'm sorry. I wait for you to die, and then when you die, I get $1 million. That's a pretty nice return, right?
Okay, I got you.
So that's viatical. Then there's the one which the ones I buy. I buy the ones for the cash value. So they have cash value in the life insurance policy.
Borrow from the policy.
Well, so I can borrow from the policy, right? So one of the things that we teach is we teach infinite banking policies.
Exactly, but you can't borrow from any life insurance policy.
Only whole life.
Exactly, only whole life.
Right.
So to you, what's I guess the right choice is only whole life. If somebody come to you with a traditional life insurance,
I have no interest. Why
you won't buy it unless this person.
Unless it's a viatical and they're going to be dying.
Exactly.
In 6 months. I actually had a viatical come to me. You ready for this? The guy had $20 million worth of life insurance, and he had a heart condition, serious smoker, didn't want to give up smoking. Doctor said 2 years max. Everybody else was saying maybe 6 months. He wanted $15 million. I could not come up with the money.
Ooh.
That would have been a really good one, but I couldn't come up with the $15 million in time.
Wow.
But that's an unusual one. That's not one that that's not one that usually crosses my desk.
I'm sorry. You know the question that's coming, right?
What?
Is he still alive?
I'm sure he's long gone. This was about 2 years ago. But I will tell you that, what I'm doing is I'm buying like somebody. This is what happens, and it's crazy because you got all the different financial advisors out there that are all selling different products. Even Dave Ramsey, all he talks is like, you should only ever have term insurance. You should never buy whole life insurance. First of all, there's no such thing as never, and there's no such thing as absolute. So when he says that right away, he's wrong. It doesn't matter if he's right in your situation. He's wrong if he says an absolute, right? Mm-hmm. So an absolute, there's no such thing as an absolute. But what he'll do is somebody, let's say the kind of people that I want the people who maybe they had $100,000 or $1 million life insurance policy, and they've been paying for it for about 5 or 6 years, and then they go to a Dave Ramsey course, and Dave Ramsey says, you should get rid of that junk. And I say, well, I'll tell you what, there's $20,000 cash value in it. I'll give you $22,000 for it. And now the 5 or 6 years, that's the worst time of the policy. That's the time, like a mortgage, where they paid all the fees and premiums in that 5 or 6 years.
So,
and now if they get rid of it, they're really foolish. But hey, they're convinced they want to get rid of it. I'm going to buy that policy from them, and when I buy that policy from them, I'm now going to be able to use that as an infinite banking policy.
Yeah, exactly.
And make a lot of money on it. And then if the person dies, I do get the death benefit. But that's just it happens to be an added. It's kind of morbid, but it's the truth.
So how can they still get the death benefit if now the policy is on your name?
Because the beneficiary. So no. The life of the body is still theirs. So they're still the insured. I'm just the owner of the policy and the beneficiary.
Mm-hmm.
So when they die, I get the death benefit. Now, it does happen. It's not really what I'm buying it for, because I most of the people I'm buying the policy from are probably going to live longer than me.
Exactly. Now, if you are borrowing from the policy right now, and the policy is under their name,
it's
right?
not under their name. They're the insured. It's under my name.
They're only on exactly.
They're the body that I insured.
So the insurance company have to authorize that.
No, they have to
realistically.
Accept it.
Yeah.
They don't have to authorize it. They have to accept it. So this paperwork that I fill out, the seller of the life insurance policy fills out the paperwork. I fill out my end of the paperwork, and then I send them a check for whatever the amount is, and then I have the policies of mine.
Okay.
Actually, if you go to ibuyWholelife.com, you'll see my website there that I buy whole life insurance.
Okay.
It's just one of those things I do. It's another little little way of of increasing my financial.
No,
net
think
worth.
about it. It's awesome. Why a person that has enough, or maybe has nobody else in this world, would like a life insurance? They don't need it.
Right. So
They want the money now, not after they
Well,
die.
yeah, but again, that's so you're talking about two different things. You're talking about the viatical, which is somebody dying within the next 2 years,
Yeah.
or someone with a life insurance policy with cash value in it,
But even
and
with
they
the
no
whole
longer want to pay for it.
no, but even with the whole life, when you buy it, you said they are still the insured,
Right.
so they still have the coverage.
No,
No,
but I'm the beneficiary.
but they got the money from you for being the
That's
beneficiary.
right. So I paid
Yeah.
them $25,000. They had $20,000 in their insurance policy. I paid them $22,000 because I give them a premium. I give them more, and I take over the policy. I take over the premium payments. I overfund it so I can borrow against that policy and use it as an infinite banking policy. And then, if they happen to die, I'm also the beneficiary, so I get the money for that. Now, I'll tell you what else I do, and I'll tell you why I do it. It makes total sense. Whoever the beneficiary was before, I give them 20% of the death benefit. So if their wife was a beneficiary, I say, I'm going to take 80% of death beneficiary. I'm going to make your wife 20% of death beneficiary. Why do I do that?
I'm not sure.
I do it so the wife lets me know the guy died so I can get my money.
I got you. Yeah, the insurance company won't call you.
Nobody's going to call me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm never going to know. Right? I mean, what I do, what I do, search the obituaries to see if the people I bought their policies from died.
Yeah, exactly.
So I give a piece of benefit back. It's free, for free, to the person. And, look, it's a nice thing that I do, but there's also, it's not all altruistic. It's about me being notified. All right, anyway, we are like, wow, that was a quick show, man.
Mm-hmm.
We blew through that show. That was great.
I know, and nobody called yet.
I know. I looked at the clock. I was like, wow, that's cool. But we got another show coming up, so it doesn't matter.
Good.
All right, so this was a good time, Omri. You learned a lot. You learned a lot about insurance. You learned about insurance and septic tanks.
And real estate. And tenants.
And really, so what a great show, right?
Yeah, we had a great show. I know, we covered everything.
And we didn't even have to listen to Debbie's voice or anything.
Yeah, who's Debbie?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can we move on?
We are. I'm sorry, Debbie. I'm sorry.
All right. I want to thank all the listeners for listening. Thank you. We're here every day, every Saturday at 1 o'clock. And we're also here at 2 o'clock on Saturday. And we're here on 3 o'clock on Sunday. You get to listen to a repeat. So if you want to listen to the show again tomorrow, you can do that. I want to thank my co-host, Omri Morad. And of
Glenn Page.
Of course, sweet Glenn Page. I want to thank all the listeners. And don't forget, go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com, and you can take a complimentary class this Thursday.
Clear.
All right. Hey,
This program
Glenn,
is paid for by Investor
I
Schooling.
want you to mark this show
Expressed on the
evergreen.
program are solely those of Investor Schooling or their
How?
guests and do not reflect.
You know what I mean?
the
Because these are the
WPHT
shows
or
that we need to
Odyssey.
play when we're not here.
They're informative.
Right.
I know. Extremely.
Where they're not, they're not,
Powering your drive
Fooling around.
no, it's not even that. They're not, they're not like, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not, I mean, they're evergreen.
Dated. They're not
Yeah.
time sensitive.
Yeah, they're not times exactly right.
At Kitchen Magic, we believe the heart of your home
Okay,
deserves
I'll put in a
American-made
note.
quality.
Yeah, because I'm also going to, we're not going to be here for the next 2 weeks.
All of our products
And
right
this
here
will
in
be one of the
Nazareth,
shows that we
PA,
would run next.
so you won't face
next
shipping
time.
delays or tariff surprises.
And we'll talk about
As a
that
local
afterwards too. There's
family-owned
another
company,
show
we are
that
proud
we
to
did about
offer
2 weeks ago
reliable
that's
service
also
and
pretty
custom
evergreen.
kitchen remodeling you can
I
count
think it was the one
on.
with me and Dr.
And this
Deb.
May only, enjoy up to 30% off your dream kitchen. Visit kitchenmagic.com and schedule your free
Yeah, we'll
design
figure it out.
consultation today.
As a business owner, you wear a lot of hats. One minute you're ordering today's inventory, and the next you're planning tomorrow's expansion. It's complicated.
Yeah, that's fine. It's just so this way we
Business
can go
credit
back
card
and we can
should be simple.
we can
With
find
the
evergreen
Signified
show.
Business Cash Card by Wells Fargo, you earn
All right, stick
unlimited
around, you guys,
2%
on
cash
Facebook and
rewards
YouTube
on
and LinkedIn.
purchases
We're
for
coming back
business,
for a second
with
show.
No caps or categories
So stick
to track.
around.
Signify Business Cash, the deliberately simple business credit card. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/signify. Terms apply.
We all hear the radio ads about the
We all
IRS.
hear
They tell you to be
the
afraid,
radio
to be
ads.
scared.
Be
And they try
afraid.
to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This program is paid for by Investor Schooling. All opinions or statements expressed on the program are solely those of Investor Schooling or their guests and do not reflect the opinions of WPHT or Odyssey.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. The Larry Steinhouse Show.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another exciting edition of the Larry Steinhouse Show, where we mix entertainment, financial wisdom, and a good dose of humor to dive deep into the issues that matter most. I am Larry Steinhouse. I am your host, and I'm here with the one and only Omri Morad.
Thank you.
Who brings his unique Israeli flair and sharp wit to the table. Unfortunately, Dr. Deb is actually in Acapulco. I don't know if that's unfortunate for us, but fortunate for her. That she's in Acapulco and she's hanging out with
where is she?
Her sister, actually, right?
Argentina.
Acapulco?
I'm sorry, Argentina. Yeah, I knew it began with an A.
Yeah.
Yeah, Argentina. Yeah, thank you. Oh boy, I'm gonna hear that one. Anyway, this week we're flying solo with no guests, but that doesn't mean we won't have an exciting jam-packed show. We're gonna tackle everything from the latest in politics to the ever-evolving economy. We're gonna give you some tips and tricks for securing your financial future. And, of course, we'll throw in some off-the-wall banter and shocking commentary. Yes, that's what we do best. As always, we want to hear from you.
So please call us at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. Don't just comment. Please call 855-939-1137. 11:37. We love when guests are called.
Yeah, when people call, it makes the show better.
I know. So please call 855-939-1137. If you're in a car and your in-law is in the car with you and you're trying to just let the ride go smoother, please call us at 855-939-1137.
That sounds very passive-aggressive. Didn't that sound very passive-aggressive, Glenn? When he said that if you're in the car with your in-laws and you want to make the time go by better?
Are you trying to tell us something?
Yeah, no, I don't.
He's trying to tell us that his in-laws happen to be in town.
I'm not.
So, like, I walk in this morning. I had an appointment at 8 o'clock this morning in my office. I walk in, and about half an hour later, Omri walks in. I'm like, Omri, what are you doing here?
Close to 10.
What are you doing here? He goes, I just wanted to come here. and I was like, oh, that's right. Your in-laws are in town. Anyway, getting back to the intro, we are broadcasting live, from Investor Schooling headquarters. And if you want to level up your financial game and learn how to invest in real estate, stocks, wealth building, Investor Schooling is the place to be, especially if you want to hide from your in-laws. So grab a seat, get comfortable, and get ready for an engaging, lively show. You won't want to miss a minute. I am Larry Steinhouse, and this is the Larry Steinhouse Show. And we're about to dive deep into an exciting hour of financial talk, humor, and real-world insights.
You know what? One day there will be a new student actually, in the class, and we would ask him, what are you here to learn? And
how to avoid my in-laws?
Exactly. It will be. We should add that to the thing that Investor Schooling can contribute to your life.
We probably should do that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
You could become really close to Investor Schooling, and on Saturdays you could do the show live with us.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to avoid your in-laws.
If you want to learn stock option, real estate, and how to avoid your in-laws, you can come to Investor Schooling. Go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com.
That's too funny. All right, so we had some things happen this week that were interesting. We did the conclusion of the stock option, the selling covered calls,
Yes.
stock option series. We did that 3
Yes.
weeks in a row.
Yes.
And we did 3 different lessons, and we talked about it.
I so many questions about that.
So
I know why my brain don't get covered calls. It gets. There are so many things that I don't get. Like, how can you sell calls for stocks that you don't own?
No, you can, but you don't. We don't do that. We don't teach that.
But how does system allow to do that?
You have to have certain requirements. You have to have a certain amount of money in the account put aside in case that call has to be called, and then you have to buy the stock to replace it. So it's not a good idea. I don't like that idea at all.
And how do you know when to be in a position that basically you give up on the option and sell a new one?
Well, I don't do
you
that.
get the question?
So once again, so there are all kinds of complicated ways to do stock options.
Yeah.
I teach very basic, simple ways that have proven to make money. And that's what's important. Like, I always tell people in the class, I was like, I'm going to show you this is very simple. This is what you're going to do. Do this, 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 and this, and you're probably going to make money, right? Or do this, 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 and you're definitely going to make money, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there are certain things that you could learn that, hey, do this, this, and this, and you might make a lot of money, but you also might lose a lot of money. You might even lose more money than you have invested. I purposely don't teach those. Now, I always tell my students, if you really want to learn them, I'll have a private meeting with you, and I'll show you how it works, and you can decide whether you want to do it or not. Because if they want to do it, that's fine. It's on them. Because there are ways you can make a lot of money doing that.
It's always on them.
But it's most of the time, right? It's always on. But it's most of the time you're not going to make a lot of money on those. So I prefer to do ways that are very easy to make money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you guys know. So for you guys who haven't heard this before, let me see if I can find this.
Are you looking for the covered call test?
Yeah. So what I've been doing is I've been doing something called covered calls, and I teach it in a very specific way. And just to give you some
basics.
Yeah, well, not to give you the basics, just to give you my turn. So what I did was, I've been teaching this for a long time. And whenever I teach something, there's always the skeptics, right? And there's the skeptics on the radio right now, and every number I'm about to give you is real, and I can prove it. But what's going to happen is there's still going to be the guy going, he might be able to prove it, but I don't believe him anyway. But I'm telling you, it's real.
So if you come to Investor Schooling on a Thursday, you will see exactly the numbers. And this Thursday, we actually even open the statements.
Yeah, I opened the statements.
We opened the statements from the account because of people that couldn't believe. And we proved that all the numbers are the exact numbers in the statements.
So just to give you a hint, what I did was I was teaching this for a while, and nobody believed me because they didn't believe me. So I said, all right, you know what? I'm going to take $50,000. I took exactly $50,000, and I dropped it into a specific account, with Charles Schwab account. And I said, okay, I'm going to do exactly what I told you to do. And I did that. And what I did was I took $50,000. I said, I want to see how much income I could draw off of $50,000 every month. So I started this January 1st. I put in $50,000, and at the end of the month, I drew out $4,675.10. All right. Then the next month, I drew out $3,908.52. The next month being March, I drew out $4,550.10.
We are over 10 grand right now.
No, it's already 13,000.
Yeah.
So in April, I drew out $56.8178, and the end of this month, I will draw out $48.1181 for a total of $23,627.31. So hold on, all you guys mathematicians out there, remember I put $50,000 into the account.
Correct, and you
I drew out $23,627.31. So how much do you think they think I have left in the account?
30 grand most.
Right. Let me tell you exactly how much money I have left in the account. You ready? $53,392.
Over what you put in the
I have
beginning.
more than what I put in. And I drew out $23,000. Now, I can show you how to do this if you want.
Yeah.
It's up to you. Anyway, we got Henry. What's going on, Henry?
Hi, I just wanted to expand a little on the subject from last week, which was the property tax elimination.
Oh, yeah, sure. We had Senator Mastriano on, and also Bill Spady on, too, talking about that. Sure. What's going on?
Yeah, I remember that. I've been involved in the movement with David Baldinger.
Oh, you had called last week, didn't you?
Him or not.
You had called then, right?
I did.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
And then I think you called at the end of
in
the end of the session. We didn't have enough time to talk to you.
Could be, yeah.
All right, go ahead.
So just if I could give a brief history of what happened.
If you promise to make it brief.
Decades, I'll keep it brief. In the early 2000s, David Boldinger, who started this, had retired, and he had been a radio announcer and then worked at AT&T. So he had actually been on the radio, I think, in the 70s, and then took a job at AT&T. But he retired, and he was outraged at his tax bill. He sat down. He's from Reading. He sat down with his representative, who at the time was Sam Rohr, and they set out to eliminate property taxes. At first, they wanted to eliminate the entire property tax bill and shift everything over to something else. But then they decided that was a bit daunting, so they decided to go after the school portion with the August bill.
Hold on. So you're involved in this now, is what you're saying, correct?
Yes, since 2016.
So when you say you're involved, are you on a committee? You have a bunch of people? Are you protesting? What is it that you're doing to get property taxes eliminated?
Well, what happened was that David formed this informal group called the PTCC, the Pennsylvania Taxpayers Cyber Coalition, which exists today mostly as a Facebook group, but at one point they had 80 of the local taxpayer groups affiliated with it. And, going back 15, 20 years, the local taxpayer groups were pretty active because of Act 1 stuff. So right now I run the Facebook page. I took it over after he passed away. And,
but here's the point, right? If you just have a Facebook page, honestly, it's not going to do much. It's just going to have a bunch of people complaining and whining and bitching and moaning, right? What I'm really looking for.
Oh, exactly.
What?
Well, what we have done is, we were involved with the introduction of 76, and as Doug Mastriano pointed out in 2015, a year before I started, that we did not me, but my predecessors did a gut and replace of that, and got it up to Senate vote. And Doug said the governor, the lieutenant governor, broke the tie. But actually, you can go back and look at the vote itself, and you'll see that there was a lot of.
So what you're saying is it's an active group, and people are actually doing something with this. How can people who want to help eliminate property taxes get either a hold of you or
join the movement?
Your help.
Yeah, how we can join? the movement?
you can go to. We have a Facebook page for the PTCC. And you might have seen it.
So what is it again?
It's the exact title here.
BTCC?
It's PTCC. Yeah.
PTCC. Okay. So if they're on Facebook and they do a search on PTCC, they'll be able to find it, right?
Yeah.
All right. Let me just. All right. So that's good.
The group itself is PTCC /space Pennsylvania Taxpayers Cyber Coalition.
Cyber Coalition. Okay.
PTCC. So. You're going to have to give me more because when I do a search on Facebook, I get a whole bunch of stuff.
So he said Pennsylvania Taxpayer
what's the name of the group?
Right.
What's the name
Pennsylvania Taxpayer Cyber Coalition.
The name of the group, physically, the letters you type in is PTCC /space, and then the words Pennsylvania Taxpayers Cyber Coalition.
Okay.
No apostrophe S on taxpayer.
I'll find it. Maybe somebody else can find it. But okay. All right. Well, we appreciate it, Frank. I'm sorry, Henry. We appreciate your time. Thanks so much. I appreciate your call.
Okay. And what can I just what we're doing is now we currently have something that used to 2 sessions ago was HB 13.
Great.
And that's being actually going to be introduced by Wendy Fink. Who's in Republican District 94. And that shifts things over to, it increases some income and sales tax, and the increase itself goes locally, not to the state. And
I'm all for taxes
now.
Yeah, I'm all for taxes being eliminated, especially for the elderly. I think it'd be great. We talked about this last week. You got people losing their houses, but we appreciate all you do, man. Thank you so much.
The fact that we need to fix it. Thank you so much, Henry. The fact that we need to fix it, that the taxes will only be distributed locally, it shows how far we went from the original idea of property tax. It should only be locally. It should only be for the township. It should only be for the roads. It should only be for the parks. It should only be for that.
Agreed.
That's the only reason.
But there's not. But with all the people, funneling money to their organizations and stealing money from people, won't make as much money, so they can't do that. I mean, I'm amazed at what Doge is uncovering, what Elon Musk and Doge is uncovering.
I know.
It's amazing. And I'm waiting to see. It's funny because
I really hope he's not going to resign.
No. Well, he was not supposed to be there long. He was supposed to
start it.
He was just supposed to get it going, and then I think he should leave Tesla as CEO.
So
I really do. I think he should leave Tesla.
They are looking for a new CEO.
I know.
And I agree. I think he's more valuable right now in Dodge.
Yeah, and I also think he's hurting Tesla, which isn't fair to the stockholders, and it also isn't fair to the Tesla owners. So I think he should leave. But I think he's doing great stuff, but he doesn't need to be there. What does he need to do with Tesla? He's got people who are brilliant who can take the company over. Now Tesla, by the way, just popped over 300 the other day.
Really?
Which is weird. Let me just see where it is right now because was pretty impressed.
This stock is bulletproof.
It's right at 300, actually. Right at 300.
Yeah, this stock is just bulletproof.
It is bulletproof.
I know.
So I'm looking, if it hits 230, I'm going to buy some calls on it. And I think it'll be a great stock at 230 and buy some calls and make some money on it.
So I believe that every time he will discover something new, the stock will be affected. So I 100% support the fact that somebody else, he will still own the company, but somebody else will be the CEO, somebody else. Right. The company will have no political relationship because the company as it is, it's, I believe, the greatest engineering company.
Absolutely.
The greatest
AI company?
American engineering company.
Yeah.
And you drove the self-driving one.
Oh, the self-driving. It scared me.
Yeah, I know.
But it was great.
You need to let it go and let the car do what
exactly.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So, by the way, I just wanted to get back to where we were, which was the covered calls, how I teach the covered calls.
Yes.
I withdrew $23,627.31 out.
And you have more than what you put.
I still have more than what I put in. Right. So it's amazing that, once people understand how to do this, they could do it, and they just have to learn how to do it. Now, it doesn't take long to learn. It takes about a month and a half of learning how to do it, and you start to do the same thing.
Yes.
And the reason I took $50,000 because I separated from the rest of my account. And I did just this technique, no other technique, to show people how it is. I got to tell you something, Omri. It exceeded my expectations.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it was going to be this good.
That's why you opened a second one.
That's why I opened a second one.
I know, yeah.
I opened a second one with $200,000 that I don't talk about. But that one's doing very well, too.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. We have people that are so into real estate, and they hear that. They come to investor schooling. They hear that. They start to ask themselves, why am I into real estate?
Right. So, and then people ask me that, too. Like, why don't you sell your real estate? Just do this. Well, here's the answer. So
diversity.
So first of all, this is not bulletproof. Okay, it's not bulletproof. There are risks, and I have to explain it. The risks are very small. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I say the risk are 2, 3. Like if you put your money in a bank, the risk is 1, right? If you put the money in a mattress, your risk is probably 2, because if the house burns down, you lost all your money, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so just understand my logic, right? Risk 10 would be a brand new startup company, giving your money to a brand new startup company that has no experience and has a new product that isn't proven.
Just an idea.
It's basically you're giving your money to somebody and saying, okay, maybe if something happens, you get lucky, you win. Okay, so that's risk 10. Okay, real estate to me is risk 2, 3. Selling covered calls is risk 2, 3. Okay, but if everything goes bad in one of my investments, right? The whole thing, either I have all my money in stock options or I have all my money in real estate, and one of those go bad, I have nothing else to count on. So that's why I have other things. That's why I have real estate. That's why I have silver. I have some gold. I have very little gold because I'm not a big fan of gold. I really have silver. I have a whole bunch of silver. I have real estate. I have cars. I have
my stock options, and I have stocks. So I'm diverse. And it's funny because some days, I'll actually go and the stock market is down. I'll go look to see the price of silver, and I'll see the price of silver is up just to make me feel better.
Exactly. One cover after the other. That's the beauty of it.
And at my age, it's all about cash flow. All I care about is cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. I mean, I do care about future.
I don't get it. That's why the covered call make more sense.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pulling out this much cash flow on $50,000. That's impressive. Now I'm going to keep tracking it, and again, this is a 6 month, this is a 5 month history so
What's
far.
the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen because exactly because you own the stock.
Right.
The worst that can happen is that the stock will go to zero.
Very unlikely.
Very unlikely.
Very unlikely for any stock to ever go to zero.
Exactly.
Right. So that's why this is better for income than it is to sit in your account. And the mistake is that people will do this and they'll say, well, I'm not going to take the $23,000 out. If I had $50,000, now I have $73,000. It doesn't work the same way. Because now what happens is you start leveraging your stock, and you leverage more and more and more and more stock. And if one of the stocks go bad, then all your profit and a lot of your money goes away. That's why this works for income. So that $23,627.31, I can never lose that money. I mean, I've used it for a living, right? But I can never lose that money. That's why I like this. So I still have $50,000, $53,000 left, and I keep doing this. And if if the stocks go bad, now it's not likely that 3 stocks are going to go to zero anyway.
No, exactly, yeah.
But if they go to half, maybe 25,000, I will no longer be able to pull out numbers like $4,000, $4,500. I might only be able to pull out numbers like $2,000, $2,300.
Because
but
basically,
theoretically,
but you won't lose the stock.
Right, but I won't lose stock. But theoretically, this can go on for infinity. Like that $50,000 I put in, never adding any money to it, I could withdraw from this account to infinity.
So the only problem I see with that is, let's say someone
theoretically,
no, the stock getting, you're losing the stock. Somebody's buying the stock from you.
I hope that happens every week.
Exactly, but they bought the stock from you because the stock, like in the sky,
right.
Took off crazy.
Right. So perfect example.
You won't be able to buy the stock back.
Yes, I can. I can buy another one.
But you buy less.
I don't have to buy that one. I buy less of another
exactly.
one.
You can buy another one. You can buy less.
Or I buy less of that one. I buy another one.
Yeah.
And it's been working out very well. In fact, if they take the stock, that's why the account has more money in it, because I sold the covered calls. I took out the income from the covered calls.
Yeah.
And the stocks got bought from me. Now they got bought at a higher price than I paid for them. So that's where the $3,000 came from. The 33. So I have $53,392, right? The $3,392 came from them buying the stocks. So I made money on both sides.
So I was pretty sure it's based on the increase on the value of the stock, which is basically the same thing.
It's based, but once the stock hits my call price, my strike price of what I'm selling the call for, and I'm sure the audience is going, "What is he talking about?"
Yeah,
you need to come here and learn this, because it's not something I can fully explain on the radio. But when you understand that just the numbers I gave you are real, I will show you my statements. There's nothing here. I'm not hiding anything. It's all real, and you can do this too. And theoretically, you can do this for infinity. You can put a certain amount of money into an account and draw off it to infinity. The numbers, I can never predict how much they're going to be. And the numbers, theoretically, will probably stay the same, but most likely, I shouldn't say most likely they'll stay the same.
With the same stocks, they will stay the same.
They'll most likely stay the same.
Yeah.
Like I'll still be drawing between whatever $4,000 to $5,000 every month. But if the stocks go bad, then the only thing that can happen is the numbers will get smaller. I won't be pulling out $4,000 or $5,000. Maybe I'll be pulling out $1,500 to $2,500.
Okay.
But if I'm pulling out that money, like after 1 year of this, I pulled out 100% of what I put in.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to say.
So at that point, who cares?
Exactly.
Right? So that's why this makes so much sense. And if you have any stocks now and you don't know how to do covered calls, you need to do that too.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just another thing that we teach. And when we teach this, and this is the most exciting thing that people really getting excited about this. In fact, we're going to start a challenge in the school we're going to take 5 people and see how much money they can make doing this over a certain period of time.
And we have
post the
rewards.
results. And we have a big trophy, yeah. We have a big trophy for us. Yeah, exactly. So you had some confusing questions about this the other day. You were confused about this when I was teaching it?
So when you buy stocks,
right?
I get that you have. I'm sorry. When you buy options, I get that you have your buy price, your sell price, and all that. When you sell option, because you own the stock,
right?
I don't get the buy and sell price.
So that doesn't exist. The second I
but
buy
you
the
still
stock,
have a call price.
No, it's totally different. You have a strike price. You mean?
Okay, strike
no,
price.
But strike price, it's a very important
I
definition.
know. I still mix them. I still mix them. Yeah.
Right. So
what's the value of a strike price if you're selling the option?
So if I buy a stock and I pay $9.62 for the stock,
yeah,
I'm going to sell the call at $10 or $10.50, either $10 or $10.50. So I'm going to sell that call.
Yeah.
So that's the strike price. So somebody could buy the stock for me if it's $10 strike price that I sold. They could buy the stock for me for $10 at any time. I made money selling that call.
Yes.
And then I also make the difference between the $9.62 and the $10 when they buy it. So the second I buy the stock, I sell the call.
Yeah, there isn't any. Doesn't make any sense to sell an option for less than the value of the stock right now, unless the price of the option is so high.
It doesn't matter. I'm selling it.
Exactly.
The higher the price, the better for me.
Yeah, but because if you want to bring money in fast and you sell, but you're losing anyway. I know.
I'm selling out of the money options.
Yeah.
And if you guys are confused, if you're listening to this show and you're really confused, I'm going to tell you this is so easy to do. And it really is. It's so easy. Just come in and see us at Investor Schooling. Go to investorschooling.com and we'll teach you how to do it.
So let's say that the Ford, you used Ford, I think. Let's say that the stock is at 10.
Mm-hmm.
You will start selling the options starting 10.5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'll take whatever number that is.
Okay.
I don't care. And if the stock goes to 11, so what? They take the stock at $10.50. I make the difference between the 10 and the 50 cents. I make that for times the amount of shares I have. Plus, I sold the option, and I took that money already.
And you always pick the middle price for the stock.
Yeah, but you're talking about the
I know.
Don't now you're like now the whole radio show's like, what is he talking about?
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Just forget about that. I mean that goes into deep in the woods of what.
What it is exactly.
Right. All right, so cool. So let's do this. Let's take a commercial, and we'll talk about some more stuff when we get back.
Please. 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137.
Schooling.com.
That was a mistake.
It's all right.
Sorry.
That's 855-939-1137. What happens? Call us at 855.
Hey, this is Larry Steinhouse with Investors.
What happens?
Listen, I know sometimes you
How many Omris?
coming to see me because you don't want to invest in real estate, because you don't want to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants. I'm going to teach you a way that you don't have to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants, or even own any real estate and invest in real estate at the same time. You want to learn this, so go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com and take a complimentary class this Thursday. And I promise you, no toilets, no trash, no tenants. Hey, this is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. I've been talking about myself for all these years. Now it's time for you to hear from one of our great clients.
Investor Schooling lives up to the promises. Larry's a great teacher, teaches about the whole new approach to thinking about money. Taking to heart many of the things that he's taught me, and my financial life has improved.
Come to Investor Schooling, and you could be just like Charlie and change your financial life. Go to investorschooling.com. We will see you Thursday. Hi, this is Larry Steinhouse, and I want to let you know that I buy houses. I buy houses from people that may be a tired landlord, maybe somebody who's having trouble selling their house, or maybe someone who needs to sell their house quickly. Well, all you need to do is call 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137, and I promise to answer the phone and help you with your situation. That's right, your house may be cluttered. It may be a house that a relative left you, or it may just be a house you just want to get rid of. 855-939-1137. Hey, this is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. Did you know that we have a radio show right here on WPHT every Saturday at 1 o'clock? It's called The Larry Steinhouse Show. And you want to listen to this show because it's a live show and you can call in. In fact, here's the call-in number.
855-939-1137.
And when you call in, you can ask us questions about real estate, the stock market, even politics. Make sure you tune in Saturday, 1 o'clock. This is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. This is Larry Steinhouse with Investor Schooling. Did you know that there are so many different ways to prepare for retirement, and annuities are not the answer? Come learn this Thursday by taking a free class at Investor Schooling. Come to Investor Schooling, and you will learn so many different ways that you can make more money in retirement than you actually expected to. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday. That's investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. We'll see you there.
This program is paid for by Investor Schooling.
Oh, I'm digging this music. Are you digging this music, Omri?
Better.
Oh, yeah, I like it. This is like, wow. I always wanted to play the guitar. I was trying to learn how to play guitar, and I found that I didn't like to play music. I like to do this, what this guy's doing on the guitar right now. And that was it. Hey, wait, this is Larry Steinhouse. Welcome back to the Larry Steinhouse Show. I'm here with my co-host, Omri Morad, and we were talking about stock options before the break. And we can talk about anything you'd like. And how can we talk about anything they like, Omri? What can they do?
They need to call us and tell us what they want to talk about, and we'll be very happy to discuss it with them. So call at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. 855-939-1137. We just heard from a listener that there was an earthquake in Atlanta today.
An earthquake in Atlanta, 4.1 magnitude in Atlanta.
Yeah, so you can call and talk about that. Anything
so pretty
you
soon
want.
There's going to be an earthquake in New York City. You know why? That big statue that they just erected, if you guys know what I'm talking about.
No, I have no idea.
It's going to fall over.
What statue?
Oh.
What are you talking about?
Oh, my goodness. You don't know about the statue?
Statue of Liberty?
No.
So what are you talking about?
There's a statue. If Debbie was here, if Debbie was here, you guys could have a conversation where I look up the picture of it.
Oh my God!
But you would not believe this statue.
So what's the statue of?
It's a black woman, very overweight, huge. No meaning for this. I mean, there's absolutely no meaning whatsoever. And it's a huge statue, and I don't even. It's like
what it represent?
Nothing. It represents somebody who created a statue of a black woman, big gigantic statue, put in the middle of Times Square. I think it was.
Really?
Yeah.
And what did it represent?
I don't know. That's the point. It makes absolutely no sense.
It's an art.
I guess it's art, but it's like, I mean, do you really want to see a overweight black woman as art? I'm sorry, I just don't see that.
I don't care. It's just
I don't care that it's black. I don't care. But
no, I want to know what it represents exactly.
Why would you do this?
Is it just to attract the reaction?
I'm sure that's exactly what it is.
Reaction, no?
Yeah, I'm sure. So it's all about reaction. What? What were you doing with your fingers there? I mean, it's not. It's not. And I gotta be honest with you. Something else, right? It's not even an attractive statue of like you could. I don't care if somebody's overweight, but they made it. They you could see the bulges in the I guess it's bronze or whatever. It is so ugly that it's just so ugly, and they highlighted the ugly parts. It's just bad.
And it's still there.
It's gonna be there. I think it's there permanent.
That's it. It's there permanent.
Yeah, I mean, it's just plain ugly.
So there must be, because, when you go to a museum and you saw a statue or a picture,
right?
I have to read what the artists say.
Right.
I always go to the plaque and I want to read what it is, how they see it. I look at it for a minute. I want to see what I see, and then I'm trying to see what the artist try to present. And it's weird to me that nobody knows. Maybe we don't know.
Maybe I just don't know.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, it's just such an ugly representation of a human being. Like, everything that could be ugly is ugly on this statue. And they intentionally made it ugly. I mean, you have to see it. And I can't do it. I can't explain it until you see it, because you'll understand what I mean. And I'm not insulting black people. I'm not insulting fat people. I'm insulting the artist. Because the artist literally took every single bad part of somebody and made sure that you could highlight it in this statue.
Maybe it's a representation for New York.
I think it is a representation of New York.
You know
right?
what?
I really do.
Maybe
I think it's hysterical,
is.
Right?
Think about it.
All right, let's
We have somebody.
We got Joe. What's going on, Joe?
Yeah, hi. Good afternoon. I wanted to talk about the reserve. The governor passed a law that we have to have so much money in our reserve for condominiums in New Jersey.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay.
Yeah, so,
I didn't know about this, but go ahead, explain it.
Well, our condo fee went up 107%. And
wow.
I was paying $337 a month, which was still even too
that's
high.
high, yeah.
Because we had a lot of
I'm sorry, 107% in what time?
107%.
In a year? In what?
Let me see. Now I was paying 137. Now I'm paying 700 a month.
Wow.
No, 137. You pay 300.
337.
337. I got it now, and you pay 700 right now. And that increased in what? In a year?
No, it was. He woke up one day and
every
it was
month.
a new number.
One day.
One day.
Yeah, every.
Right. So what they're saying, and wow. So the government once again is playing dictator. What do you want from Murphy? He's another dictator.
Well, it all came from when Florida the buildings collapsed.
Right. I figured that's exactly what it's about. And they're saying you have to have this money in reserve to fix this stuff. So if they basically say, hey, listen, you're a homeowner. We don't really care about you. We want to make sure that your building doesn't collapse, but we don't care that you won't be able to live there anymore.
Wait, but
that you have to move.
If it's an HOA, an HOA have to present to the owners what the money is going for.
Yeah.
Are they building a new pool?
No. You didn't hear what he said. Governor Murphy passed a law that said HOAs now have to have a certain amount, a much higher reserve amount of money in the account. So now all these people with condos,
double the money just for the reserve?
Yes, that's the money just for the reserve.
Just the
reserve.
So can I say something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what they told us was that we have. Oh man, it's kind of like it's devastating. It's horrible to everybody in the condo development. We have to have $6.3 million within 9 years in our reserve.
And you probably had nowhere near that.
So wait.
No, not at all.
After 6 years, it will go down?
They might, but they're not going to go down.
They won't take it out, I know. Yeah, but the point is that it must go down.
So are they calling that? So Joe, are they calling that an assessment, or are they calling that an increase in association fees?
Yeah, I wish it was an assessment, but it's not. It's an increase in our condo fee.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
they're killing us. We have 5 people on the board, and they made that decision.
Well, the 5 people on the board didn't believe me. They didn't. So I'm on the board of a couple of condo associations, right? And believe me, when I have to make a decision like that, I'm not happy about making that decision for 2 reasons. One is I know the blowback, and 2, I have to pay that amount too. So I'm not happy about making those decisions either. But they have to be made. So don't go to the board and say, screw you guys. You made this decision. It's not them. They had to do what they had to do.
What's the reason?
The attorneys said that they had to do it. What's the reason for what?
What's the reason for the reserve to be so high?
Because I don't know if you remember the story about the building that collapsed. It was in Miami, right? Wasn't it? Where the building collapsed?
I don't know which city it was, but it was Florida.
Yeah, I think it was Miami, where the building collapsed because the association didn't have enough money to fix the problem.
When the engineer report and all that. I remember,
right. So now they want to make sure that can't happen again, which is great. But now they have nobody who can afford to live there.
Are you kidding me? So because one building owner or HOA decided not to do repairs because they have no money and they let people still live there, while the engineer gave a report that people shouldn't live in this building, now everybody will suffer.
That's right. That's exactly right. This is government. Government has no logic.
See, the thing is, we had to pay an engineer, and these engineers are supposed to be specialized in this here to figure out how much money we're going to need in 10 years. So
Right.
there are only like maybe 2 engineers that are capable of doing this, and we hired them. And I don't know, and so they went along with the engineer, and so now we're a lot of people are, well, like myself, I don't know how long I'll be able to last with
sure.
this increase because I'm retired.
And then when you go to sell the
and,
property, you just lost $30,000 to $40,000 in the value of the property because the people coming in going, wait, it was $300 cash. It was $300 for HOA. Now it's $6 cash HOA, which means I can afford less. So they just devalued all the properties, and they made all the people living there and made it hard for them to live there. That's brilliant.
You know what? I'm afraid because this happened in New Jersey.
Knock on Murphy's door and say, hey, listen, can I room with you for a while?
Will it happen here?
Pretty much.
Is it going to happen here?
If there are Democrats, and that's why you got to get these guys out of here. That's why you got to, you got to vote for people like Bill Spadea,
but
in New Jersey.
But I'm very worried because many things that start in New Jersey are infectious and they're coming to PA. We saw that in the past.
Yeah.
I'm very afraid that this will happen.
It's not the people, it's the Democrats. And they vote the Democrats in, and then this stuff happens. Well, I'm really sorry to hear that, man. That's rough. I did not know about that, but that's rough. Well, good luck with it. That's all I got to say, man.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Take care, and again, good luck. All right, Army, that was bad news for him, huh?
Yeah, I've never heard about something that doubled in one.
I've seen things like that happen where there's all of a sudden an assessment, but to double association fees, even if you could maybe just bring it up like $100 this year, then $100. I mean, even that's bad too, but make it easier for people. I mean, we have, just so you know, the assessment in our building that we have here, where we are right now, because these are all condo offices. The assessment we had to add an assessment of about $350 per unit to cover repairs.
$350
per unit per month.
Per month.
Yeah, so we had an increase $350 per month to cover repairs, but that was a one-time assessment that after 10 years everybody's paid off.
So it's only 1 month.
No, it's per month for 10 years. Because the repairs are pretty extensive. It was $1.7 million worth of repairs that we had to cover in this condo association.
So is it the community or is it related to the building?
So in this case, it's the community. So the complex that we're in right now, they're all office condos.
Yes.
So I own one. I used to own two, right?
It's not to cut the grass and do all that.
No, there is a condo fee that I pay for that.
Yes.
To cut the grass and also, in case something
snow,
else. Yeah, snow removal and all that stuff. And I'm on the board here as well. So I'm pretty in tune to it. But a couple of years ago, I think it was about 6 years ago, we had major problems with these buildings. It was stucco. So stucco's always a problem, and they had to take all the stucco down. They had to fix the board behind it, and they had to put siding up, right? So it was $1.7 million to cover that. We didn't have it. The association didn't have that kind of money. So we went to a bank and we borrowed it. And so we added that cost to the owners of the condos. Everybody complained, but they were like, look, we have no choice. There were people like, I can't afford that. I'm a fledgling business. I'm like, we're sorry, we have no choice because the rest of us can't let our buildings fall down.
Yeah, exactly.
So we had to do it. So, since then it's been fine. And we've been paying it off, and I pay it every month. I pay that assessment fee. Then I had another condo association where they changed the roofs and they didn't have enough money for the roofs. And they charged me $67 a month for the next 10 years to cover the roofs. So it's going to happen. But in this case, it has nothing to do with the building itself. It has to do with the government creating a new law, changing the reserve, which is a real problem.
Yes, but according to your story, it makes sense. Because you said we need to do the roof, we didn't have the money. We need to do the stock, we didn't have money.
Right.
What you basically create is that a reason for us to have the money if something happened. My question is...
I'm Governor Murphy. I just want to make sure that no buildings collapse. It doesn't matter if you can't afford to live there anymore. I just want to make sure it doesn't happen again.
What?
And there's no sign of it happening.
I'm just not sure how a $6 million sitting in an account is a solution.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's go. We got Ginger in Springfield.
Oh, regarding the statue.
What's going on, Ginger? She's going to comment on the statue, I hope.
Hello, how are you?
Have you seen that statue?
Well, I wanted to comment about the statue. I haven't seen it, I was going to look up online, but I didn't.
Okay.
I figured you needed like a female input, and the lady that's usually there is not there.
Yeah, Debbie's not here, so that.
So you know what I really think it is? Honestly, I think, there's so much talk about body positivity that's why the statue looks the way it is, because you're supposed to look inside a person to see their inner strength. Now, I personally am a little overweight. I think it's disgusting to be overweight.
No, it's not.
That's not.
Oh my God.
That's not at all. That's not at all true. Yeah, and that's not even the problem
for me.
Yeah, I'm putting it up. I'm showing Omri I'm showing it to Omri right now.
Listen, send us your address, and you will get a copy of the book Money Hacks and a bikini set.
What does that have to do with?
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. This is not the point. And I'm pretty sure Larry haven't.
You don't think it is? I thought it is, like, to look
I
your
don't think
inner
it's
beauty.
disgusting.
It's inner beauty.
Well, it's always inner beauty. It's also
so you
how.
Like,
and here's the thing,
the
right?
Physical.
So somebody who has a curvy body, right? They can make that curvy body look nice by dressing it up a certain way.
Correct.
And, right?
That's
but
true.
the statue, if you see this statue, I'll put it up.
It's powerful. That's what I see in the statue. It's just powerful.
No, she's powerful with her arms the way she is.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
But look at the way they drew it. They purposely highlighted every bad part. That you can highlight.
It looks. Maybe I'm using the bad word here, but it looks neglected.
Yes.
Okay.
Good word.
Oh wow.
It looks a bit neglected.
Nothing about it looks attractive.
And that's, by the way, what you just said. Refer to the fact that. Oh my God, we will be thrown off the air tomorrow.
I know, it's like we're dancing around here, right?
Yeah, but I think that the fact that any woman or any man in any age that will be neglected, regardless to how much they weigh, will look bad, will look unattractive. Any woman in any weight can be attractive. It's how she feels about herself.
That's true. I agree with that.
It's how she feels.
I mean, I totally agree with that.
It's how she feel about herself, and when she feel good with herself, everybody see it, and it's regardless to what she wears.
That's true. But I was just trying to figure out what the message of the statue was.
So this statue,
I just think it's about inner positivity,
No. I think I want to read this article. I only see the picture, but the statue that I'm seeing right now, the only thing I think is she's a powerful woman. But But I'm sorry that I'm saying that. We will be off the air next week.
Why?
But
I don't think you say anything wrong.
No, I think.
No, she looks like a Karen. You know, what the definition of a Karen is.
But it affects her womanhood.
No, it looks like a Karen.
She doesn't look like a woman anymore. She looks like a powerful figure.
No, she looks like a Karen. She looks like a Karen.
What is a Karen?
A Karen is, you know what a Karen is, right?
No, I don't.
A Karen. A Karen. I thought you said carrot.
You know what a Karen is, Ginger, right? A Karen is the whiny, I want the manager. I want the manager.
Right.
That's what Karen. And that's what she looks like.
Yeah.
She looks like she's complaining about everything on Times Square right now.
I was about to say, she seems like the bad cop in Times Square.
It's not, I'm telling you, you gotta see.
Figure that. We'll have to read about that and figure it out.
I was looking at that.
I do have a little real estate question too.
Sure.
Well, good. Let's get there, because before we get in trouble talking about, this terrible
woman's body. Yeah.
Go ahead. What's your question?
So, I have a row house that I live in, my only home.
Okay.
It's paid off. If I sold it, it needs work. But if I sold it, I might be able to get $225, maybe a little bit more right now. But I don't know that I'm 100% ready to sell it. Okay. And I saw a property near the beach, that $240,000, and I'm trying to figure out a way how I can buy that without selling this.
Oh my goodness!
So someone suggested to me.
You reached the best place. Do you know that, right?
I know that.
You will never sell your property.
Of calling, and then you started talking about the statue, and I was like, all right, I got to call.
You will never sell your property, and Larry will explain why.
Well, go ahead.
I know.
Let her finish,
so, is your Springer property right now? Maybe you said that is free and clear.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So this other property you
Beautiful.
want to use it as a vacation home? Is that it?
No, she want to move there.
Well, eventually maybe move there.
Okay.
Like in maybe a year or two, I'm getting towards that.
Okay, and this one you want to keep and you want to rent it, right?
Working years retirement.
And you want to
So
keep
I
this
just
one and rent
think-
it, right?
I'm not sure. I would like to do that, but I don't know that I have the, hooks up to do that.
That's
what I would like to do.
We'll teach you that too.
So you need to come.
So you should come to Investor Schooling. Army's going to turn it into a commercial, but the answer is yes. You can do that. You can keep the property. You can rent it. You can move into the other one. You have two properties now, getting building equity, and it's a good idea.
And basically, the tenant that will live in your house in Springfield
and
will pay for the mortgage.
other house.
Or for
Pay
the
the other
mortgage for
house, 'cause
this
this
house.
one's paid for, right?
Yeah,
I'll pay for the other house.
Exactly.
So it's a great way to do it.
So if you really hate the property, you can always sell, and we can help you with that, and we can even buy it from you. But if you can,
Oh yeah,
and it's
people always want to buy this house. I don't know. I mean, investors
I'll buy
are
it.
like ridiculous.
I shouted dips before, and the point is, owning two properties when one can secure the mortgage or can give you a decent amount of income every month, that's better.
Exactly.
That's better. If you want to know how to do it, and just meet us in person. We promise we are nice people, even though we are a bit curvy. We are a very nice person. So come this Thursday.
Me too.
I tell you what, Ginger, come to Investor Schooling on Thursday, and we're both going to give you a big hug because, according to you, there's more to hug, and we like to hug more.
We do. And we are just people like that. We like to hug people. So come. Will we see you this Thursday?
So the third, can I ask, is that an in-person or can you do it online?
We can hug
we
online.
can't hug you online.
We can't.
So you have to come in person.
Please come in person. We have treats. We have coffee. We have hugs for everybody.
I know, that's the issue. For me to get there.
You don't have a car?
Like a Thursday.
You don't have a car?
No, of course.
Then you're going to get here.
But
no excuses.
Do
I gotta work.
No.
7 o'clock at night. It's 7 o'clock at night. So go to investorschooling.com.
Believe me, I've tried before to get there.
Please come.
So it just hasn't worked out. I will get there.
Please come. Please come.
All right, go. I have to get to another caller because we're out of time.
Okay, great.
Ginger,
All
go
right,
to
well, thank you
Investor
so
Schooling.
much.
Go to investorschooling.com and sign up. All right. All right. What's up, Fran?
Larry, how are you?
Pretty good, man. What's going on?
Yeah, thanks for taking my call. Long-time listener.
You're
Enjoy
welcome,
your
man.
show.
I love it. I'm so welcome to calling. You got to call every week, man.
I'll see what I can. I listen to you every week, though. I'm usually doing yard work, though, while I'm doing it. So, quick question. So with the Trump tariffs and there being much media and press about a potential recession, I'm interested in your 3, 6 month, and I guess 1 year outlook. Based on
tariffs
what
are
you
not going to
think.
cause a
I'm just
recession.
curious.
Here we go. Tariffs are not going to cause a recession. A recession is due, though. That's the issue. So if you're a Democrat and you want to blame, the Republican that you hate named Trump for a recession, you start talking about it while it's coming, and you say it's all Trump's fault because of the tariffs, and it's not even here yet. Now, if he can make it through the next 4 years without the recession happening, he's going to be a hero to Republicans. But the problem is, the next person is there's a recession either coming in the next 2 years, 3 years, or it's coming after Trump's presidency. It has nothing to do with tariffs. It has to do with normal cycles. In fact, our normal cycle should have been 2022. We should have hit a recession in 2022. Guess why we didn't hit a recession in 2022?
COVID! Sorry.
He was supposed to answer that.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
No worries.
Right? So what he said
I gathered.
is the reason. And what happened is because they flooded the country with all this money, all these loans.
Right.
Now the
Artificial.
recession didn't happen.
No, but now it's worse.
It will be worse.
Now it's
because
worse.
All those loans are going to come due. Well, we have all these SBA loans out there that nobody's going to be able to pay. And the recession's going to be even worse.
And they keep printing.
And they keep doing. They're not printing right now because Trump's in there. So what's going to happen in about 3, 4, 5 years from now? we're going to have a recession that's worse than the one we would have had in 2022, which, by the way, is exactly why we had a super bad recession in 2008. You know why we had a super bad recession in 2008? What happened just a few years before that? You remember? 9/11. So 9/11 comes.
Understood.
And we were already in our way to recession. I don't know if you guys remember this, but I remember it because I owned a business then that was starting to go bad, and I saw the recession was starting to happen, and the recession was starting to go bad, and all of a sudden 9/11 happens, and the government floods the country with money, loans, and blah, 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 and grants, and blah, 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 and the recession never happens. Now we go to 2008, which would have been near the next cycle, and what we get? We get a double recession, which is what it looked like in 2008. So, and it's funny, it's going to be right about the same. It's going to be right around 2028 would be the same timing for it to happen again. Now, there is another theory out there, and my friend Charles Payne, if you ever watch Fox News, Charles Payne, he's a friend of mine, and we had a conversation about this a couple of months ago, that he thinks that we're in what's called the Gilded Age, and I can't go into his theory. His theory is brilliant. I actually wanted to have him on the show. I have to reach out to him again to see if he'll come on the show. But he has this theory about the Gilded Age and how we could go the next 15 to 20 years without a recession if he's correct. And it could be pretty powerful. So those are my answers. But here's the deal. You can make money. Yeah, you can make money during a recession. You can make money as we go into a recession. You can make money as we come out of recession. You just have to learn all the ways to make money. And that would be my suggestion to you. And if you ever could come to Investor Schooling, you should do that. And I so much thank you for calling, man. It was awesome.
Thank you, Larry. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Can you just please move this? I can't.
He's still looking at the picture of the woman.
I don't look at the picture. She look at me.
Isn't that terrible? It's like, it really, it looks like she's going to say, Omri? I can't do a black accent.
It's not a black accent.
Omri?
No.
Can you? I want you to fix my plumbing.
Larry, it's stressing
me. That's what
me.
she looks like. I know.
So she's She
looks like a Karen, complaining Karen.
She's a very, very stressing. It's like with the hands on the side. It's, It's not powerful. I said powerful because it looked powerful in the beginning, but it's
a Karen. It looks like a Karen.
I don't know what it is, but maybe you're right.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody look it up, I mean, it's just. Ugh.
It's very stressing.
I don't want to see that.
It's very stressing.
Not I mean, even the ridiculous statue of George Floyd was better looking than this. But that's where I'm going to end this because we're at the end of the show.
Okay.
All right. I want to thank everybody for listening. You guys are awesome. You guys are great. Kimmy found it. She said she looks like she has attitude.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
I want to thank you all for listening. If you want to go to investorschooling.com, that's investorschooling.com. You can take a complimentary class this Thursday. I want to thank you, Omri, for being here again. You were awesome. And, of course,
Sweet
Glenn Page for being our producer today. And, I don't know.
Investorschooling.com.
Is that what we do?
That's investorschooling.com.
And learn how we make all this money. Investorschooling.com. We'll see you on Thursday.
You are clear.
Thank you.